Curious to hear from
Yeah.
him.
How's he doing, man?
How's he doing?
What happened?
I mean, Janks,
How are those clubs doing?
Yeah.
what's going on with you? I mean, I'm hearing too many disturbing things. I'm losing faith in you, brother.
Yeah, well, what happened, Howard, was I went away for a while.
What do you mean you went away?
Here's the story. Captain Janks
Gary
has
knows the whole story.
Well, let me first just update people because they might not know what they're doing. Captain Janks, of course, is the phony phone call guy. You know, we like him and all that. He's been making phony phone calls for years, and we play him here on the show. Then he started a little business where he'd show up at these bars
And he's been doing it for years.
and do like Howard Stern Trivia Night and all these things. So
Around Philly.
he would sign contracts with these bars. Next thing I know, the guy has stiffed about 20 bars, I don't know, 10 bars, I don't know how many.
Is something going on in his life now? Because he's been doing this for a long time, and we never heard anything bad.
So we started-
And then all of a
Yes, Rob.
sudden...
We started to get a lot of letters from bars saying that Captain Janks was guaranteeing them mentions and guaranteeing them that he's going to show up and do a trivia night, and then they'd give him money, and then he wouldn't show up.
Right, somehow he was getting paid up front.
And I refused to believe it, but now I do believe it because I've seen too much evidence against Captain Janks
Really?
and gotten too many
You've
letters.
seen the evidence.
Yeah, Janks. I mean, really. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, pal, but that's
Well, what
not cool.
happened, Howard, was it was basically a situation where, I was chugging along. I mean, but I also had addiction problems.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, basically what happened, it came down to, first of all...
What are you addicted to? You have no money.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
Well, you have to understand something, Howard. There's no... I have my preference, you know what I'm saying, but it wasn't about preference. If you have an addiction problem...
Janks, you're being very cryptic. What are you addicted to?
Well, my preference was prescription painkillers.
Okay.
All right? But if you're an addict to everything. You can't just stop one or the other. You got to stop it all.
Right. So what were you doing?
I was doing prescription painkillers.
Okay. But you said you were doing it all. So what else were you doing?
Well, prescription painkillers, drinking, stuff like that.
What, Jax, I remember a few years ago you called the show and you'd said you had just taken an Oxycontin and you wondered if I ever did because it made you feel incredible.
Exactly.
Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Did it start before then or after that? Because it made it sound like you just took one and were high.
It was going on for a while.
Uh-huh. And is that what you were...
Obviously, that type of lifestyle will catch up with you. And what was happening was then my car went, and, I mean, rent gets, not paid and this and that.
Well, that's like, Chris Rock told Howard, if Artie's really fucked up, if you fire him, he'll be broke in 3 months.
Right.
But so what were you buying, man? You were buying Vicodins and Oxys and all that shit?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I don't understand. You're saying now that you got so strung out you couldn't pay. You were buying so many pills you couldn't pay your rent.
Couldn't pay my rent. I'm just saying.
Did you lose your job?
Everything's gone. Today's the last place that I'm in my house. As of
You
today.
mean you can't? Wait a second. You can't be on Oxycontin and work at a gas station?
Well, you can't be an addict and continue. It has to stop.
Here's what happened, Howard. All that shit, that's all heroin. It's just in pill form. It's
Right.
opiate.
Exactly.
So you get addicted to it like you get addicted to heroin. That's how
But
I
you
started.
think you'd be able to keep a garage job.
But what happens is, in other words, first you need 10 to get high. Then you need 20. Then
Right.
without 20, you're not even high. You're sick.
Right.
You're in withdrawal. So then you need 25 just to feel normal.
Right.
And then you want to be high again because you're an addict. So then there's no stopping it. So you'll start stealing from everywhere.
Right.
And
Artie understands perfectly.
so first you got to go through withdrawals, and then you got to go to detox. Did you get Subutex, or is that too expensive for you? That's probably too expensive for you.
Well, see, that's the thing.
So wait a second. I don't mean to keep interrupting, but let me stay on topic here. So how did you get into this whole thing with stiffing all these bars? Like, why didn't you just show up and do the bar appearance and get more money?
Well, the first thing that goes is my car.
Yeah.
And
So
then
you
I
can't
just
get
have a
to
car.
her.
So what I tried to do was rent a car every week, so that I could at least get to the appearances. And by doing that, that's opens up a whole nother can of worms. Whereas, you got to pay a lot of money to rent a car for a week.
I could paint an exact picture of what he was doing. Probably you know, because what happens is when you feel all right, you make plans. You know,
Right.
I'll be there, I'll be there. And then, I don't know, this is the genius part of this. I don't know how in the fuck he got these bars to pay him in advance. I mean, I do stand-up and, you know.
You have to wait.
Yeah, you know, with the most legit people, and they don't want to send you something in advance. So I don't know. That's the genius part. But anyway, he somehow gets them to send him money. Then he blows it with pills, and then when the time comes to do the gig, he's strung out or he can't make it.
It shows you what a bright guy he is, that he can get this business going and get money in advance, but he doesn't want to apply it to work. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the bottom line, what it came to is, you know, I mean, nobody really knew. I didn't tell anybody. But what it came down to is I finally did go to people that were in my life that were, you know, family, close friends, explain the situation, and basically what happened was it was like an intervention, and I went away to rehab.
Now, do you owe Steve Langford an apology?
No, he's still mad at Steve.
Why? Steve was telling the truth.
Yeah, but, you know, look, you don't want this truth to be known.
No, the thing with Steve was, the whole Steve thing was, it was a catalyst. I mean, it initially turned out that I missed one or two. But then it got worse as the result went on because, you know,
Janks, you're still in a bit of a denial. I mean,
no, because I'm saying I couldn't get bookings.
Well,
that's not true
good.
because you had Janks. I know because we saw like 8 or 9 people before you went to rehab that were bookings that you didn't show up to, and I can't believe. So you got those bookings and you didn't make it there.
Right. Yeah. So Janks.
Right, but,
so here's the question. So now you're telling me you're homeless?
Yeah, Howard.
Yeah.
Janks is getting out today, right?
No, I'm homeless, but I'm sober.
He's getting out today, but he has nowhere to go. He lost the place that he was living, and he was telling me for whatever reasons he can't go live with his parents, so he's probably going to end up in one of those sober houses.
How come you can't live with your parents?
Well, you know, Howard, they're not in the best of health, and they're retired, and you know, I mean, it's not a situation where it's not an option.
How do you have money for a sober house?
You don't have money for that. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do to make it. I know I'm going to go to meetings today.
But how do you go to a sober house if you don't have money to pay for a sober house?
You got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
What does that mean?
We don't know what you're saying.
He doesn't have to pay for it.
He does not know. I spoke to him earlier this morning. He doesn't know where he will be sleeping tonight. Is that right, Janks?
That's correct.
But initially, I don't think you have to pay for a sober house initially.
Right. You got to do your best.
Where are you right now?
Well, this is my last morning here.
Oh man.
So
that's rough.
I don't even have any heat in my house. I mean, you know.
Can't he move into your screening room, Gary, with the bar and the?
Right. If you move one of the stools, could Janks be one of the stools?
So Janks, you got to go get a job.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Well, where's he going to work though? I mean, he's got you know, like a bad reputation. He can't get a recommendation now.
Which is why he might be mad at Steve Langford. But anyway,
I just want to ask James a question. We figured out that there's like 8 or 9 appearances that you didn't show up to. So where did that money go to your habit, or where did that money go to?
Well, renting cars. I was chugging along, and like I told you, Gary.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. You were making enough money where in the past you were making a profit. So now you got that money and you go to the appearances. How did you lose it all?
Oh, it all goes to the pills, sure.
He says he was chugging along, but he was chugging along stiffing people.
Yeah,
right.
He'd start doing nasty shit. Hey, where would you get the pills? From a dealer? Would you try to scam like pharmacy shit? Like how would you get the pills?
I never scammed a pharmacy, but you can get anything off the street, Artie.
Yeah, but how much were you paying for it?
It gets expensive.
How much is one Oxycontin?
Well, I mean, on the street, you can get it for something like $20, $30, $40.
$40 a pill.
A pill, yeah.
Wow.
So
those
if you
are
need 10 pills, that's one appearance.
See, that's the thing. That's why people graduate. See, I never graduated to heroin, but that probably, my therapist at the rehabilitation center said that would have been my next step.
Yeah, but that probably would have been a good move for you.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense to go on heroin.
Better for your liver.
Economically, it's a good idea.
What? Yeah. And now, for like were you taking 30 milligram Oxycontins?
80s.
Oh my God! And so you would need 10 80s a day type of thing?
Something like 6.
Yeah. Wow, 80 milligrams. That's 400 milligrams.
But the bottom line is here.
Did you ever resort to like blowing guys to get money?
No, never happened.
Good.
All right.
But the bottom
right
line
size
is here is that I just wanted to, I clean myself up and sober up. And what I'm doing now is just trying to get myself back on my feet.
All right, good.
And I want everybody to know that I had appearances with. I'll do the appearances. I'll do whatever I got to do to make it up.
You will honor your appearances.
It was never my intention to not show up.
You're a good man, Janks. I'm pulling for you.
I'm just doing my best to get everything back on my feet again.
Yeah,
all right.
All right. Prescription pills are bad shit.
It's just I go to meetings all the time and stuff like that. And
well, I had no idea you were struggling with this, but I am very, very.
Nobody did.
I'm very, very happy to hear from you because I was worried about you, and I'm glad that you're straightening out your life. All right.
Thanks.
All right,
Janks, I may have
Keep it on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, Janks, I may have to call a station and say that you're dead and see if they'll report it, like you did with me, because now it looks like you have the same problem, don't you?
They have the death toll on me.
Janks is a good guy.
I can relate what you were going through by listening to, you know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you for relating to it back then by calling a news station and saying I'm dead.
I never did that.
It sounds to me like Janks has hit rock bottom.
Exactly.
This is what they call it, Howard. Yes, when you've lost everything, that's a bottom.
No. Blowing a guy, that's going to be rock bottom. And he says he hasn't done that.
With Janks, now he's going to be on the comeback trail. I hope when he hits the heights again, when he's on top like he used to be. When
Doesn't
he was working,
need to celebrate.
When he was working at the gas station and making these bar appearances, I hope when he hits the heights again, he doesn't let this get to his head.
Because remember,
there was never a gas station.
What?
Oh, really?
What did you do?
See, well, the thing is any place that I worked didn't want me to come out and say that, who I was.
Right.
Oh.
So they say if you it would be a situation where if you ever say where you work on the show, then you're going to lose your job by the next day.
Oh, so you didn't work it again.
So I would say that just so that I wouldn't, lose my job.
So
what was your profession?
Well, I basically did any jobs that were around.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but you're indicating that you were employed steadily by someone because they got mad at you. Who was that person?
I mean,
No.
What,
I just want
what
to know
type of
what
type of were you a school principal? What was your real occupation?
Actually, at one time I worked for I don't even know if I should say this. I worked for U.S. Healthcare.
Oh.
And I was basically told if you ever say I was called into the office of like the president of the company, and I didn't know why. And he said, if you ever say where you work, then that's it.
I'll tell you how brilliant this guy is. You see, here's a guy.
He won't tell us what he does. He still hasn't done.
He worked for the CIA, obviously. One of the things that is the reason I got to tell you how brilliant this guy is. Here's a guy that used to, he'd get through to every major news organization and make these phony phone calls. He was the night Bob Hope died. Who was on CNN as his longtime writer?
Oh, I love that call.
Captain Janks. That's one of his best. And it shows you he's a genius. I've said for years. Once in a while, you meet like flim-flam guys who scheme. They can never have a straight job. If
and they're brilliant.
They're brilliant. Criminal mind. Now, I'm not saying that Janks is a criminal. But he's one of these guys. He's so brilliant with these phony phone calls and things. And
the way he would set it up, sometimes he'd have multiple phone calls, all kinds of things.
And I got to figure there's a place for this guy if he could just straighten his life out because he's a bright guy.
There is a place. It's called the Sober House.
Well, all right. Well, you know what I mean. After the
really
Sober
would
House.
love to know what he did, like what kind of skills he has, but he won't.
What kind of what?
No skills.
Skills.
He doesn't have any skills.
You tell his skills are phony phone calls. He's a con man. Hey, Janks, did you go through withdrawals on your own? You just got through it on your own?
Yeah, well, when you go through rehab, what they do is they kind of wean you off over the day.
Oh, so you had medication.
Process.
Yeah, he had medication.
And I've even considered methadone clinics and stuff like that. But then you also have to figure if you do that, then you're just substituting one drug for another.
No, you get addicted to methadone.
Right. So I'm trying to do it just with nothing at all, and just go to the meetings, and the meetings help.
I'll tell you what, Janks, to get you back on your feet, I'm going to give you $500 cash courtesy of Sex Drive on DVD. It's ruder, cruder, and nuder.
Then what?
Than anything.
Oh.
Own the unrated cream-filled edition of Sex Drive on DVD and Blu-ray tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I've seen Sex Drive. It's a funny movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, I watched it. And the and the unrated version is real good because just in the middle of the movie, they just have naked chicks walking around. Like you'll be in the middle of a scene.
It doesn't have anything to do with the scene?
Nothing. and just all of a sudden, there's a naked girl waving.
Just they cut it in.
I love that.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like if they put Spider-Man in every movie just so you could say hi to you. Anyway, okay, Captain Janks, there's $500 for you.
I appreciate that.
All right, you're welcome. And
if I had an address for you to send it to, that'd be great.
Well, we'll figure out a way to get it to you.
Yeah, I know. I could, have it sent to my family or something.
All right, hold on.
He would appreciate a wire.
So Gary, are you surprised by Captain Janks' revelation today that he's been on drugs?
No, I knew there was something wrong when I spoke to him. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, I told Howard he's all agitated and was just acting weird, and I thought there was something wrong with him then. I didn't know it was drugs, but I had a suspicion that it might be.
Now, are there going to be any repercussions because, he's using the Howard Stern Show's name by getting these gigs?
Well,
is Howard going to cut him off or anything?
But we don't have him on in the sense that, like, he doesn't even get to come on the show and plug.
True.
He hasn't plugged anything on the show in over 2 years, so he sort of does his own thing. I'm not happy about the fact because I think that people who work hard and have a business shouldn't lose money to a guy who's doing it in the name of the show, but I really have no real control over him, so he'll have to regain everybody's trust and see if he can go back to doing it again. But, we'll probably have him back on the show, have him in, and he can explain exactly what was going on, and then Howard could decide what to do from there.
Listen, we're reporting the story, but the Stern Show was initially contacted by bar owners. We then got contacted by a lot of bar owners. And the story is really in response to all these people who claim that they were hoodwinked and that Captain Janks took the money and did not show up for these appearances. Now, as you remember, a month and a half ago, Captain Janks was on the air on the Stern Show saying, Langford's lying. This isn't true. How dare he? Well, again, if we go in that studio with a news story, it's solid. You can bank on it.
You had your facts. Yes.
We don't go in there unless we have our facts.
Lisa G., speaking of her, here she is with some headlines, and then I have to get to about a million things.
Howard 100 News spoke to Sam Simon over the break, who was with Artie Lange in Las Vegas on a taping of Sam's new TV show for the Playboy channel called Sam's Game.
I fit a lot of Vegas into 40 hours.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
did you
I didn't fall off the wagon.
No,
but
no drinking.
I shacked up with a broad and I gambled quite a bit.
Did you
now,
drink?
Is this a paid girl?
No. This is actually a girl. Well, it's a girl who used to be paid.
She doesn't charge you anymore?
I'll tell
she sees a future with you?
I might be falling in love with a hooker.
Is that true?
I really do enjoy this girl's company. But
wow. You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
She's a real person.
I'm going to tell you something.
A lot of people think whores aren't real people.
Can I tell you something? I know a couple of very famous people. I've heard about this.
Yeah.
And I've met them. Who have gorgeous wives.
Right.
Who supposedly they were call girls. And and girls that you would high priced.
I know
escorts.
I know a couple of names of celebrities that would blow your mind.
Yeah,
chicks.
You too, right?
Really?
No, girls who work call girls. I don't know if they're married.
You're right.
They're celebrities in their own right now.
Right. And what I'm telling you is, I know of guys who are famous who have hot wives.
Right.
They married their call girl, their escort.
Right.
What they do is they sort of clean up their background. They don't, they don't ever mention it.
They get the police records.
Well, I fucked that over already.
Yeah, you fucked that. But the fact of the matter is, it's not the most unheard of thing.
I don't think it's happening. She has kids, and she lives in all the way across the country. But I do it. Listen,
but you want a family.
I care for this.
You
girl.
tell me you don't have to pay her at all. Did you give her gifts?
No,
do you ever say to her?
I don't have to do anything. No.
But do you end up giving her something anyway?
Not this time.
Right.
That was down money. But if I win money, I'll give her something, like a dealer.
Right, a tip.
Like a blackjack
good luck
dealer.
tip.
No, I never cash anymore. That's a little gauche.
So you went to Vegas. You went out to Vegas. Sam Simon has a new TV show where he gambles, plays cards, and you sat at the table with Norm and a couple other guys.
Right. Okay. It was me. It was Norm. It was David Attell. It was Jeff Ross, and it was Playboy Playmates. I sat next to most of the time. I sat next to Brandy Roderick, who is
gorgeous,
the hottest chick I think I've ever seen in my life.
Now, what's she doing? Is she playing?
She's playing poker.
She can play.
So, but here's the funny thing about...
What does she wear when she plays poker?
She's wearing this, like, sequin-looking top and real tight black pants. And then they had all these I got 3 phone numbers of Playboy chicks who were serving us.
You mean...
Like bunnies?
And you were able to get their phone numbers.
Oh yeah, texted them and everything. I got a gig.
He's a big star on the show.
I got a gig at the Hard Rock Cafe in Vegas, June 27th, and 3 of them are coming. It's a slam dunk.
Do you think really? Do you think
It's
they're
a
interested in sex?
What do you mean?
I know. Well, a couple of them, it's a slam dunk.
Are these girls who appeared in Playboy magazine in the pages?
They're bunnies. They served us food. I don't know.
So they're
yeah, a
bunnies.
couple of them did.
But they were in the magazine.
Yeah,
That's high-level printing, yes.
I mean, you're talking, this one might be the hottest chick I've ever seen in my life, this girl from Michigan.
And you got her number, and maybe there's
Yeah. She's very sweet.
All right. So you go to the TV show taping. You play cards for what, charity?
And Ralph was there, too.
Ralph is there.
Okay, so Ralph...
Ralph was
I don't know.
chick at the table?
Look, I don't know I don't know the details, okay?
How does Ralph end up?
I was told that Sam flew Ralph out first class.
Wow.
Gave him... And now, we stayed at the Palms, which is a beautiful hotel. The Palms has a brand new tower that is all just luxury. It's not,
not a casino hotel.
You know, at the Hard Rock sometimes you could hear the casino going on all night.
Yeah.
This is for people who don't want to hear all that shit. So they put Norm and Attell and myself and Ralph up in these, huge suites. I had a view of the whole city. It was gorgeous.
Right.
And Ralph had a nice suite as well.
Ralph told me he had the same suite I had.
Wow.
And he got flown out there first class, and he was there all week. And he was playing in the game like it was celebrity. It was all comedians.
And Ralph.
Playboy, centerfolds, and Ralph was there. I mean,
Now, does Ralph sit at the table, and is he part of the taping of the TV show? So he is a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And he's billed as Ralph from the Howard Stern show?
He's billed as Ralph Sorrell. That's what I saw on my thing.
All right, okay.
So here's the funny thing about Sam. Now, we're playing on the Playboy channel.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a TV show. And all of us, like I said, exactly what you just said. It's for charity, right? Or whatever, or just for fun and stuff. David Attell thought that, too.
Sure.
So at the end of one round of play, I wasn't here for this round, Attell lost $1,000 or whatever.
Okay.
So at the end, some guy comes up to Attell and says, so, you owe Sam $1,000.
What?
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
You're doing Sam a favor.
You're doing his TV show.
Right, but if you lose money to him, he could lose money to you, and you could lose money to him. But Sam is billed as a professional poker player, as is Norm Macdonald.
Right.
So there would be an advantage there. And there's also professional... Jennifer Tilly played, too.
And she's a pro.
And her husband, Phil, this guy who's a pro.
You mean to tell me Dave loses $1,000 and they say you owe Sam $1,000?
It gets so much better.
Okay.
So the next day, now I'm playing with Attell, okay?
Yeah.
And Attell goes, did you know this isn't for charity? Like, I owe Sam $1,000. and I went, you know what? Knowing Sam, that doesn't surprise me, but I would have had to been told that it's for charity.
Yeah.
Because they give you $500 to start. Okay. That's your money.
Right.
And you also get paid $1,600 for being on the show.
Oh, okay. So Attell is working for nothing.
But Sam knows. the kind of people he's with. So, but like we told Norm and you, if you want more than $500, Sam will loan it to you.
Loan it to you.
Right, and then of course, if you lose.
What's the interest rate on that?
There's no interest rate, but if you lose more than what you borrowed, you owe him that money.
Well, if he is a supposed expert player,
he's a professional.
If he's a professional poker player, why would I want to go on his TV show, help him out,
and lose money to him,
and lose money to him?
Degenerate gambler.
Yeah, I guess so.
So this is what happened. So I said, "How much you giving me?" $500. I said, well, I need way more than that.
Sure.
I said, give me $5,000. So the guy immediately, like a loan shark, goes, absolutely. Sign Artie up for $5,000. He gives me $5,000 in chips. Now, the start of the TV show that has me and Attell and Norm at it, Sam opens the show by completely humiliating Attell and going, listen, on camera, Dave didn't know that he really owes me money, so Dave has to give me $1,000 and then we'll start. So now Attell on the TV show is taking out his wallet.
Dave doesn't have $1,000.
Well, Attell's got the money, but he says, thanks, Sam. Well, I don't know if we're going to do this on the air. So he takes the money out of his wallet. He gives the guy, Sam's producer / bitch, I don't know, gives the guy the money, and then Attell buys in for another $1,000. Me and Norm each buy in for $5,000.
Oh, my God.
So now here's the rub here that I get pissed off with. It's also a TV show.
Sure.
Okay, so now Sam, Norm, myself, and Attell are all at the table. Sam wants the show to be funny, okay?
Right.
So there's also 2 Playboy Playmates there. So now who do you think the funny falls on there?
You.
Right, of course.
And
Me and
Attell.
Norm, right. But Sam and Norm are such like crazy card players. They're concentrating on the game.
They're not being funny.
Okay, so now me and Attell are looking at each other. Every time I started making jokes, you know, and like I would throw in like when I didn't really have a good hand to be funny and stuff, and I was doing shit that I thought would be entertaining.
Right.
But at the end, you lose money, and it's like, okay, you're being funny. Sam wasn't being funny.
Right. He was making money.
Right. He was making money, I guess. And then me and Norm started doing some stuff. We were trying to be funny.
Let me get to the bottom line for a
there's
second.
two different things going on here. There's a poker game for real money, or are we trying to entertain people? Because I can't concentrate on both things at the same time.
Absolutely not.
So,
well, why are you feeling all this pressure?
I started getting a little pissed off, and I started playing for real.
Okay.
I started really getting into it. So now at one point I was up 11 grand.
But you know what this is like? This is like being asked to do a guest starring role on, let's say, ER.
Right.
And then being charged a hospital bill. I mean, I never heard of a show like this. But although I have to hand it to Sam, it is a reality show. You're really playing for real.
It's like doing Letterman, and at the end of Letterman goes, listen, I'm a pro pool shooter. You want to shoot pool for me?
Right. Yeah, I mean, all right. So anyway, you start to play for real. So now I'm in the game now. But me and Attell, we're casual poker players. Me and Attell are now in a game with a Playboy Playmate who's hot as hell, which is very distracting. Now,
and three professional poker players.
Is the Playmate putting up her own money? Brandy Roderick has that kind of buy-in?
No, she just took the $500 from the game, and she would. You get $500.
Is Sam really going to take her money too?
I don't know if he did, but she didn't have any chips in front of her at the end of the night. But listen, if you only bet the $500, you don't lose anything.
Right.
I lost. We lost because I put an extra $5,000 in because I wanted to play like a real thing. So now I'm up $11,000.
Wow.
At the end of the first round. So if we stop there, that would have been it. But they take a dinner break and we do a second round.
Okay.
Now, they send me out into the fucking casino with, I'm like, fuck it. I started really gambling. I'm playing craps. And then, so I go up to my room and I call this broad. And the producer of the show says, look, you got to come back down and do the second round because, like it's a TV show.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. So I go back down and I win the first couple of hands. And then me and Norm get involved with this hand. Now, Norm is a really good poker player. All right. And I've played poker with him for years, but I kind of know, like, I'm not going to say he has a tell, but I kind of know when he's got a hand, I think. Because Norm is great at making an I don't give a shit face about everything.
Right.
So, it comes down between me and Norm and whatever you got. I mean, so many people know about poker now, but I had a pair of kings with like a queen high.
Okay.
That's all I had after the flop with everything in beginning. So me and Norm start gambling, and I can tell by the last card, the river card, that he doesn't have anything.
Right.
But so I bet a lot of money. He bets a lot of money, and then I go all in to end this one round with Norm. On the river, the last card, Norm gets a flush, an ace-side flush.
Wow.
Okay, so and it looks like he played it perfectly, and I'm like, oh, so I'm making jokes about it. Again, there's cameras all over you, like be funny or do something. So I lost probably all 11,000 on that hand.
Oh.
Wow.
I buy in for another 5. Okay. So we finish out the last couple hours, and I ended up down money. I ended up down like $8,000. I think Attell won money. Norm must have been up, and Sam was up money, I'm sure. But the second round, Jennifer Tilly stayed. Me and Jennifer Tilly did a movie together. So the whole time we're telling stories about the movie.
Well, can you leave the game? Let's say you're winning, and you say like a real poker game. I want to leave.
Not until
I want to take my money and go.
But what if you're losing and look, Brandy Roderick?
Then you can go out. In? They have people that just the first Playmate dropped out in 10 seconds.
Right.
She lost her money.
Okay.
And then Brandy sat down, so she was sitting right next to me. I keep ordering food from the waitresses. Like, there's a lot of distractions going on. So at the end of the game, Sam closes everything. Sam has a catchphrase, too, by the way.
What's his catchphrase?
I go, what's your catchphrase? He goes, watch, you'll love it. So Sam looks, that arrogant Sam, he looks at the camera and goes, okay, we had a big excitement here, a couple of big hands. I think Artie's down some money. This is Sam Simon. Remember, it's just a game.
Remember, it's just a game.
Because he's got all the money.
Right. So now here's the funny part. The producer comes up to me, the guy who's going to tell me how much I owe Sam now.
Right.
At the end of the night, and I'm aggravated. Sam's trying to close the show, and I just go in back of him every time and fuck it up going, I lost money to the guy who created the fucking Simpsons. I said, yeah, you got to kill me to get that money. I'm not fucking sending you this money. But I pay my debts, whatever.
What?
So I'm figuring out, I'm trying to count to figure out how much I'm down. But this guy who produces the show, he knows. He's keeping track. He knows everything. He comes up to me and real casually off camera says, listen, we did the math. Okay, listen. You owe Sam $8,010. But I'll tell you what. Let's call it $8,000.
Oh, isn't that nice?
He's going to throw in the 10.
He lets you go the 10?
$8,010. And then he goes, but I'll tell you what. Let's call it $8,000.
You know what? That's a mensch.
So now I leave the table. I owe Sam $8,000.
Right.
I go up to him, and Sam comes to me and goes, thank you so much for doing this. Because, look, we had a vacation. Vegas is fun.
Right.
But I had stand-up the weekend before and the weekend after vacation. I might have done something else.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And besides lose $8,000 to Sam.
There's a broad I'm kind of seeing. I might have went to, like, I don't know. I was thinking about
take her on vacation.
Oh, yeah, something like that. So I'm not seeing this bro. We're committed.
So what did you do? Did you write him a check for $8,000?
So I go up to Sam and I say, listen, it was great being here. He goes, thank you so much. It was a big favor. I know you're on vacation, blah, blah, blah. And I say, yeah, Sam, no, don't worry about it. You're welcome. I'm glad to do this for you. So where do I send the $8,000 I owe you?
So have you
and
paid
I thought
him yet?
maybe Sam was going to go, come on, it's a TV show. You help me out here. You're on the show. Sam goes, I don't mail me a check.
Mail me a check.
Yeah.
That's it.
But wait a minute, so...
What a story.
I want to know if Ralph loses money if he's got to pay Sam. If that fucker ain't paying Sam, I ain't paying Sam.
Yeah, because
How's
you
that fucking sound?
You don't get the $1,600.
No, I do. They send me that's union shit.
Then you have to send it right back.
Well, no, I get a check like if I appeared on a TV show, that gets sent to my accountant, the $1,600. But I got to send of my own personal money, 8 G's to Sam.
That's what I'm saying. You worked for nothing.
Dominic, you're
worked for nothing. It cost me 6 G's.
Dominic Barber.
I don't get something, Artie. How can a private individual lend money to people in Las Vegas to gamble? It's against the law. You can't.
No. Sam, you don't understand. It's like the guy said, how much do you want from, like, Sam's game? The show. The casino was loaning me the money. But when we sit down at the table, it's legal to gamble. In Las Vegas, we were gambling. We were playing poker.
Who are you mailing the $8,000 to?
The game. The show.
Not to the casino.
No.
I don't know. I'm mailing it to the show or the casino. I don't know. One of the two. I'm not mailing it to Sam personally, but I lost money to the show. I lost money to something. I guess I lost money to the casino.
I think you realize that that's, of course, not legal to have a show where they lend you money and you pay them back.
He's saying that they do it through the casino.
No, Sam. Dominic. They said to me, the casino can front you money if you want.
Right.
And I got fronted money. That's what I did.
It sounds like it couldn't possibly be legal to even have a show that lends you money that you then pay.
Hey, is the $8,000?
I got $5,000.
I'm sure whatever they're doing, they've looked into.
I got $5,000 in chips from the show. They made up chips. They were Palms chips. We were playing at the Palms. So I don't know what kind of deal. I don't know what kind of deal they have. All I know is I taped a TV show and I lost $8,000. But
no individual can open up in a casino their own gambling casino or bet.
Dominic, it's obvious they're playing at a casino.
Right.
Yeah, we're saying we're in the Hef Suite at the casino. Yeah.
And that you're getting it's the same when you get a marker from a casino. And now Artie owes $8,000. Probably Sam was paid already from the game, and now he owes money to the casino.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sam can explain it. The bottom line is, I taped a TV show, and I owe people money.
Yeah, I don't want to get caught up in that, but it sounds like the $8,000 at least is a tax write-off. Maybe, possibly because you were taping a TV show.
I don't know.
I don't know that that's the case.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
So Howard Stern could open up in a casino the Howard Stern game, have people play, make a profit or a loss, and film it.
No. No, Dominic.
That's not what happened.
This is the way I understand it. You go to a casino and say, we want to tape a TV show.
Right.
Which is a poker game.
Right.
The casino, as you know, has poker dealers.
Right.
And you go there and you buy in.
Right.
Now, how you buy in is up to you. You can say to the casino, I want to have a marker. which is essentially what it sounds like Artie has done here. He has said, look, I don't have the money with me right now. I want to take out a loan. You know, I want to take out money. At the end of the game, whoever wins the chips goes in and cashes out. Now, Artie owes money to the casino. That's how it works in it. You can go anywhere in a casino in Vegas and play poker.
Listen, here's the thing. Sam might have been doing this for charity, but we weren't told that. Sam is a very charitable guy.
Right.
And I'm sure that's what he was doing. But my point is, it wasn't, to me and David Attell, it was obviously, it wasn't made clear what was happening, that we're playing with real money.
But once it was made clear, you bought in anyway.
Of course. I mean,
right.
you know, but listen.
Well, he's there with a camera in front of him. He can't look like
I'm in Las Vegas. There's hot chicks around. I'm shaking. Yeah, give me money to gamble with.
And you're telling me...
I'm sure knowing Sam as wonderful as he is and charitable is, that he didn't do anything intentionally, but I don't believe that a casino can have another organization front like that.
Right. You're not listening to what Howard was saying.
Dominic, you're not following. But it's okay. Listen, I got to go.
I'm telling a story. I doubt, you know, and obviously it's a funny story. I lost money. I doubt Sam did anything wrong.
No, I know he did.
But maybe it all went to charity in the end anyway, but it is hilarious.
Artie wasn't in on the deal. He doesn't know how it's structured.
But so afterwards...
That wasn't the point of the story, to find out whether it's legal or not. Yeah. We're assuming the legalities have been checked into. Thank you, Dominic.
Believe me, there was nothing but law enforcement officials.
Let me understand something. So you're telling me you didn't drink, you didn't do any drugs?
Not even close.
Wow.
You just lost money.
And so anyway, so at the end, I was going to fly home. We finished playing the last game at about 3 a.m., and I was going to fly. And then afterwards, me and Jeff Ross and a couple other people, and Ralph, Jeff Ross and Ralph went up to the Playboy suite to watch them shoot the beginning of the show.
Right.
The beginning of the show is this insane Playboy suite in the Palms. It has a pool. I'm going to explain this. Like, they have 4 suites where the pool juts out like into the sky. Like if you look, it's an enormous balcony if you look up, so it looks like a peninsula or something.
Right.
And the balcony is a pool. So it looks like, and the pool is all glass, so it looks like you're swimming in the sky. In other words, like you're almost flying through the water, and it was loaded with Playboy Playmates.
How does Playboy afford all of this? I mean, they're on hard times. Playboy.
Well, again,
magazine.
I think that that's a licensing the name kind of thing. The Palms.
They have the Hef Suite,
right?
And there's 4 suites like this, and the pool in the Hef Suite has the Playboy bunny and everything. But the more important thing was, so at 3 o'clock in the morning, we go up there, and Sam has worked it out where him and Ralph is in the beginning of the show. There's a bit they do in the beginning. It's Sam and Ralph. Like, they're connected now publicly.
How did Ralph get to be his sidekick?
I don't know. But
right,
so,
at least Ralph's got a job. Yeah,
that's probably how Sam got him money to get flown out there. Like, look, you'll be in the show.
It's a write-off.
Okay. So Sam and Ralph are surrounded by 12 Playmates. So they're shooting with the Playmates. Now, me, Jeff, and Ralph are watching these Playmates. They got thongs on and bikinis, frolic in the pool.
Wow.
And they're throwing us the beach ball and stuff. We're going, like, what's going on? Like, can we fuck these girls afterwards?
Do they have any kind of commentators?
Well, Sam and Ralph are the commentators. They're waiting for Sam to come up there and shoot it. They're getting, like, B-roll of the girls playing. And
Right.
And me and Jeff and Ralph are like standing on the side of the pool talking with these girls, like, and the camera guys and shit have work to do. We used to look like hungry wolves, like,
just drooling.
Sure. So I get so horny now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, and I have to have a flight at 6:55 a.m. Right?
How do you stay up that long? I don't even know how to do that.
I had slept till about noon that day. It's Vegas. You know? I don't know. I mean,
you
know,
go ahead.
I don't get bored in Vegas.
Right.
I don't to get Gary in trouble. So so now I'm kind of horny from these broads, and one of them was kind of, I was talking to her, and they're like, well, we have to stay here and shoot this all day. So I call this chick that I know, and
the hooker.
The used to be hooker.
Let me ask you, and you really think she used to be a hooker? She's still a hooker. But...
In my life, Howard, let's calm down. She's not a hooker.
No, you get her for free. I understand that.
I don't know what she does.
You don't ask.
Right now, she could be fucking a guy for money. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to think about it.
Okay.
Right now the girl
because you have feelings.
Right now the girl I'm dating could be shitting. I don't want to think about that.
Right.
So I call her up, and I'm like, it's either jerk off or call this girl. And when you're in Vegas, there's always options. And she was around, and she came over. So
when she comes over, she must fuck great because she gets paid professionally to do it.
She's such a doll. She looks like who is a couple of people here have met her. Dan, the Song Party Man.
What did he say?
She's smoking.
Smoking hot.
She looks like I showed you a picture of her once.
You did?
She looks like a young Nicole Eggert.
Oh, my God.
Like a young one.
And you wouldn't deal her to anybody else. Like, this isn't the girl you got for JD or anything like that.
What am I, a jerk?
What do you think, he's an animal?
No, the girl who blew JD and fucked JD was a different girl.
So
somebody else set that up. That was the best. JD's at Nobu. Clearly a whore comes over.
So she shows up to your room.
She comes up and like I know everything about her now. I ask about her kids. I know her kids.
How long does it take after the small talk before she starts fucking you?
This was quick because I told her, I said I was horny. So I ordered some food and yeah, Tracy Morgan showed up and blew.
You know what happened to Tracy Morgan over vacation?
No, what'd he do?
He's the funniest guy on the planet. Tracy, do you know about this, Robin?
No.
His fish tank in his apartment caught fire. I mean,
how does your fish tank
I don't know,
catch fire?
He's the greatest.
It's full of water.
His fish tank caught fire, and then I think he burned. I don't know what happened. Like he burned down half the building.
What do the fish do? Like they're like, wait, we're in water.
Survived. I don't know.
Our water is boiling.
I think we're at dinner.
So
how does your fish tank catch fire? Yeah, go ahead.
So
she shows up.
I call up my friend is the producer. This girl that I've known for years produces Sam's show, and I said, listen, I'm shacked up with this broad here. Like that. She's known me forever, so she understands what could happen in Vegas. I said, just make it like the Red Eye tonight. So I changed the flight to the Red Eye, and it was like the Keith Richards style. I shut all the windows in the suite, like put tinfoil up. I wanted no light in there. And me and the chick were in there for just like 10 hours together, getting room service.
For 10 hours? How many times do you bang this chick?
I don't know. We fell asleep a couple of times, probably like, I don't know, 4 times.
Wow. And for free?
Yeah. Well,
money.
She ordered champagne, which I didn't touch.
Right.
And
really, you were partying with her. You're banging her.
No
She's
party.
And when
champagne.
you kiss her, you can taste the champagne and you don't break.
You could have had one little champagne.
I don't kiss her. No, I didn't do a goddamn thing. No booze.
Would
no
you say
nothing.
this has turned into like a Pretty Woman kind of scenario where like you're falling in love with a hooker and
I'm Richard Gere?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No. No, it's not going to happen. I could never.
Something. You whispered under your breath a few moments ago, I'm committed.
No, I said I'm not committed.
You're not committed.
You wear rubber when you're with this chick?
Absolutely.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
Even for a blowy?
No. It started out that way, but no.
Now they're in love.
I always wear a rubber, though.
But no kissing? Really? It's like that, huh?
No.
No kissing?
No.
I mean, now there's kissing.
Yeah, we can't. But it's like, I know her. She's a good girl. She's all right.
Wow.
Everybody's got bills.
You got a picture of this chick right now?
No, I have one. I'll get you one.
Give me a picture.
I showed you a picture of her.
I'm confused.
You thought she was hot.
You showed me the picture of her before you became emotionally involved with her. That's why I didn't pay. Now that she's your girlfriend, I want to pay.
She's not my girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend.
No. She going to come to Jersey and hang out with you?
No. That's
not for her.
That's been discussed, but no.
No. Why not?
Maybe at the Shore House. As Robin knows, I'll have any type of broad at the Shore House.
Your mom doesn't go to the Shore House.
Oh, yes, my mother has her own.
His mother decorated.
My mother, are you kidding me? My mother has her own wing. She has a suite.
So if a whore shows up.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless my mother's away. Unless my mother goes on the
Sounds to me like you're falling in love with this girl, but you're worried about what society's going to think.
No, would I worry about society? Look at me.
In a weird way, yeah.
No.
There are areas where you worry.
There's a lot of complications with her.
The kids.
That's one. Also, where she's from and geography and everything else.
She could move. What's to stop her
move
from
right
moving?
into that shore house.
Calm down, Robin. If my mother goes on the summer-long cruise I'm trying to get her to go on.
The way I'm thinking about it is you got a whore for free, and you had to pay Sam Simon $8,000. So you're kind of
sort
equal.
of made out of you.
Yeah, you did okay.
Now, in regular gambling.
Go ahead.
In regular gambling, I won $12,000.
All right, so you really won $4,000 is what you're saying.
With the 1,600, so if you count the 1,600, the game, the 2, and the 500, if you want to get really cool with the math.
And the 10, even count the $10.
Little over 6 G's.
6 G's you won.
Up.
Okay, so
thank goodness for your regular gambling.
Yeah, and again, Sam, of course, will get on here and give his story, but David Attell knows that in the beginning he didn't know, and I didn't know for sure.
Yeah,
but,
that's kind of a screwy thing.
I think from my calculations, Attell ended up some money, and I bet Norm and Sam are up a shitload of money.
They just want to take money from their friends.
Did you get worked by Sam Simon?
Did I get what?
Worked by Sam Simon.
My lawyer said I can't discuss this right now.
Why not?
No, I don't know. I think Sam. I think what we're looking at here is Sam stole money from me to give to charity. It's like Peter Pan or Robin.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John Hine and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
Artie Lange here. On Monday's wrap-up show, we discussed Dr. Drew Pinsky and his assessment of me, which I think is total bullshit. I don't want to be dead like my father. I'd like to be thin like my father probably is right now. I don't want to be dead like my father. But I do drugs to forget my father's dead. It's very complicated. Join us when the exploiter of the century, Dr. Drew, comes in and hopes that he gets me to die on his show instead of this show. I'm dying on our show, not Dr. Drew's show. Fuck him. And fuck you!
Now, Artie, before you came in, I was explaining, I took your side in the sense that how could you say that this guy, Dr. Drew, isn't exploitive when everything he does is on television?
Right, of course. The guy's look, I know he's a nice guy, but look, I said to him point blank, would you let one of your daughters do this? And of course, the thought of that's horrifying to him. And he went, good question, no. It's just, look, he's taking advantage of the biggest fuck-ups that are out in L.A. right now. You know, I mean, that's
okay. So let's say we buy into that point, which you're not off on that all the way.
I don't know how I'm off at all.
Do you still think that he's not giving them proper treatment?
No, they're not going. He admitted it. He admitted it by not being able to throw out the real entertaining people like Gary Busey, and he said Tawny. I don't know what she was doing by not being able to throw them. Okay, by not being able to throw them out. And why do you throw them out? Not because you don't care about them anymore. Because they could affect the treatment of the other people. That's why you throw them out. So by not being able to throw them out, to have them still there, still being a disruptive force with the other people, no one's getting proper treatment.
Okay,
nobody.
Say we buy into that, right? So because I'm saying I buy into that.
Buy into it. It's a fact.
Listen. Okay, you're right. Does that mean that he has no ability to judge or diagnose anybody else?
No, that doesn't mean that. I'm just saying he doesn't care about it as much. That's all. I'm saying that, look, he's admitting that. Okay, I don't think he's a bad guy, but here's a true doctor with integrity. Here's a guy, and look, none of us are Jesus Christ, and I'm not judging anybody, and I know I'm about to put him up on a pedestal that no human being should be put up to, and I don't think anybody should be perfect, except Benji, who's clearly a perfectionist. This, to me, is a doctor I would want to see. A guy who goes, look, you're unbelievable at what you do. You happen to practice in Los Angeles. We would love for you to do a TV show and with these people. And here the guy goes, no, I can't do that. I can't ever bring myself to do that because this is sacred to me. I'm a doctor. I took an oath. I can't put these people on TV if I'm not allowed full autonomy and I can't do whatever I have to do within treatment to make them better. That's a doctor I want to see. Dr. Drew was asked that question, even if he asked himself in his own head, and he said, I'm willing to fucking do it on television. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't make him a bad guy. I don't judge him in a bad way because we're all human beings, man. I mean, we all go for the money.
But in a way, you are judging him because you're saying that he's not good enough to diagnose or treat you. But in your mind, for what you want.
I don't think he's and I think he's not. He shouldn't be able to treat a lot of people due to that, just one factor. I mean, look, the other thing is, how many people is he not if he thinks he's such a great doctor, how many people is he not treating because he's in a meeting with the network or, because he's developing another show?
That's unfair to say because you would have to sit there and figure out what every doctor does with their time when they're not with a patient.
What about a golfer? Doctors do two things with their time.
What if they were golfing? What if he were golfing instead of being in with the network?
Go to the hacky thing, golfing.
I'm just saying.
Whatever. I'm saying, look, Drew probably golfs too, but the average doctor doesn't golf, take care of his kids, meet the network, develop a show, and then see a couple of people. The average doctor golfs, takes care of his kids, and then sees as many people as he can help, and not on television. And that's all I'm saying. Look, I'm a fuck up, and I'm not judging. I am judging him, but I'm not saying that, look, I hate him or he should be in hell for this. I'm not doing what Jesus would do. And I'm not saying I'm not a fuck up. I'm just giving you my opinion that he had to ask himself that question: should I do this on television? And can I give the proper treatment on television? The answer is no, clearly in his head. And anyway, he said yes anyway. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not a fuck up, and I agree with Artie. I think doing it on TV hurts your credibility. I do.
See,
and again, I think he's good at what he does. I think he made a lot of sense, and I think Artie absolutely needs help. But I think he makes a very good point.
All right, let's get off this topic because we're getting stuck here.
Because you're losing.
No. What did you think of his assessment of you? That initial assessment.
Actually, wait. Before you answer that, Artie, I'm sorry. Okay. Teddy, hit clip number 1.
John's not a fuck up.
People, when they're sober, end up better than they thought they could be.
Right.
But it's almost like you want to join your dad, you know what I mean? And if you can't live without him, you're not going to live. You know what I mean? And that's, you deserve a better life. You deserve a sober life. Right. And he would want that for you. And it seems like you idealize him so much that he can't be the real guy he was with you. And you won't let go of the idealized image. And that's either pulling you towards death or keeping you on heroin.
All right. Let's not forget to mention the fact that he developed this theory by reading Artie Lange's Too Fat to Fish, still on shelves,
which is a very honest book and a pretty good insight into who you are.
It's a fantastic book. I'm not going to argue. But it's the best book out now. I get it.
It's pretty good insight into who you are. It's not every moment.
He called the book riveting.
Good. Okay. So get to the answer, the point.
He bought his own copy too.
Listen. No, he didn't. I don't want to be dead, okay? That's extreme. I don't want to join my father in death. What he did say after that, which I think is probably true, is it might be the reason I'm still doing heroin and other drugs. I don't want to be dead. I don't, if there was an afterlife that you believed in and my father saw me there before I was 90, I think he wouldn't want me there either. I wouldn't want to be there. I don't want to be dead. I'm telling you right now, I don't. But do you think might be the thing that keeps me going back to drugs.
Do you think that you have put your father on this pedestal and idealized him to a place that may not be real anymore?
Well, look, if you read the book, I say in the book when I describe some of the things he did that he did put my mother through hell at times. He was crazy.
But it's about you and him, though. Just about you and him.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, a shrink might beg to differ, but I don't think I put him up on that pedestal where he can do no wrong. But
it's funny because in a way you almost said that today when you talked about how when your dad was a quadriplegic, how in your mind you thought that a thief coming into the house that your dad could still somehow defend.
See, but that was then. I don't believe that now. It's a long time ago, Gar. Okay. And I don't believe that now. If my father was a quadriplegic in the house and a burglar broke in now, we'd be fucked. I'd leave and let him, do whatever. Steal my father. But so at that point I did. At that point I can remember going to bed at night and just saying, God, if someone broke in, we'd be fine. I don't think that anymore. I was 20 when that happened. Look, clearly something's fucking me up. Clearly my father has something to do with it, but I don't want to be dead. I promise you.
But do you think that Dr. Drew is right in saying that the father connection you believe has to do with why you keep going back? You said something today that shocked me.
Yeah, that could have something to do with me doing drugs, of course. I'm sure it does.
You said something today that shocked me, which I did not realize. You said that you have not been more than 11 months sober in how long?
Since I was 17, probably.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
See,
wait,
I thought you had more.
Wait. Since you were 17, how long have you been sober for?
But Art, that's kind of interesting what you just said. And I've noticed that before. When was your dad's accident?
October 1985. A week after my 18th birthday. So I started drinking before he fell.
But let's define started drinking. We're having a beer here and there. When did you have a problem with drinking? Or have you ever had a problem with drinking?
Well, I mean, Well, sure I have, of course.
In other words, do you think you were heading down the road you were heading down before your father's accident, or not necessarily?
No. I don't blame him for me leaving. Look, I got into college under false pretenses, and I would have left. School was not for me. Although my road that I took after that might have been much different. He might have been like, look, then you're going to just work with me and maybe try to learn this business. Or I don't know if he would have tolerated me going into New York every day without work. And he wouldn't have minded me chasing the dream to be a comedian. But I think, because he was a big fan of comedy, but I don't know if he would have let me fuck up as much as I did in those years. It's interesting. And I don't know if I would have had as much drive to make it, It's weird. My life would have been very different. I don't know.
You say you want to live. You don't want to die. You don't want to die. You say that a couple times. But in your book, I know you tried suicide once. Have you been feeling that way for a long time, recently? It seemed like when you went down to Florida, I wouldn't say you had an epiphany, but you definitely came up saying, you know what, I got a lot to live for. I'm in a good place. I'm feeling a lot better.
Yeah, I didn't say I was in a good place till I got to Miami.
A better place.
That was a great place, Miami.
Sounded like
with
it.
The hotel. Nobu. Some of the chicks down there. The wellness center was a horrible place. Rehab's a horrible place.
Must have been the worst 9 days of your life.
But, Gary, you know what? I saw your house in Connecticut. You wouldn't last 10 seconds in this fucking place.
I think, dude, I'll show you where
guys are making
I'll show you where I grew up.
You guys are making it. I know where you grew up in shit. Long Island. It's all shit there. But what did I grow up in? Beverly Hills?
No, but I think that you leaving because of the conditions is an excuse, not a reason. I know that you're used to a better way now.
I'm going to see if your wife would tolerate this rug in your house for 10 seconds.
My wife doesn't have to go.
Do you have good water pressure in your house?
Did they say to you when you left, like, we don't think this is... Hey, Art, when you left, did they say, we don't think this is a good idea? Or they're like, that's fine, just come in?
Who told them?
Hi, this is Scott the Engineer, and on Tuesday's wrap-up show, we talked about how I recorded John's demo tape for Tonight Show, and then told him I wasn't going to give it to Howard, and then turned around and gave it to Howard. What a bitch I am. Right, John?
The show started really with Howard doing a rap on Stuttering John and told his side of what he thinks is really going on with him and if he'll go over to the new show, etc. But when he played the tape of Scott recording John auditioning for the announcer job at the Tonight Show, you heard Scott in the background and Fred doing Scott's laugh. But Gary was telling me during the break, John lived to fuck with Scott.
He did. First of all, you have to understand something. Scott didn't even have that John thing in the profit system. He was holding it off to the side. And the reasoning is still not clear to me. Scott claims he was looking for the unbleeped version, but I think Scott was trying to keep it out of there because I think he felt a little bit bad about fucking with John, but then he didn't care anymore. You have to understand the level that John would go to mess with Scott. So I talked about earlier on the show today. So you know the phones, when you pick up your telephone, how there's a button there and that's how you can hear what's going on? Stuttering John used to go and tape it down on Scott's phone. Then he would call him, and Scott would pick up the phone. It would ring, but it would never pick up. And he would go, "Hello, hello." And I remember one day Scott ripped the phone out of the plug and hurled it at the door. Then John pulled a prank on Scott that I believe a caveman pulled on another caveman, back in the Ice Age. But it was so great. John took a $5 bill and attached a piece of fishing wire to it. So Scott comes bopping down the hole. We're all waiting. John goes, "Don't worry, he'll be out here any minute." We're looking through this little window. Scott goes to pick it up, and John just pulls it away from him. He fucked with him at every available turn.
That was before cameras were around?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff isn't even on tape. A lot of stuff is just for John's fun.
So with Scott, this was the ultimate revenge, no?
Well, the thing that's funny is John did some of those tricks, and some of them are on tape and some of them aren't, but Scott's got this forever. And, it's wrong of John to be mad at Scott in the sense that if he really never wanted it to be heard by the show, he should have gone elsewhere to get it done. It's a lot to ask of Scott to keep this contained for, 6 years.
And John, as you said, messed with Scott all the time.
But in all fairness to Scott didn't give it to me like the day after John got the job. John got the job, and Scott sat on it, and then at some point he realized, I can't sit on this anymore. That's a lot of pressure for him. Because if I ever found out he had it and he didn't give it to us, I'd fucking ream him.
Well, first, Howard said he was pissed that Scott didn't tell him right away. But as it turns out, he did the right thing.
Artie jumped in and said, "Listen, you got to give Scott a standing ovation." And he's right.
Yeah.
And like I said, Scott took, just hours of shit. For whatever reason, especially at the beginning, Scott was John's personal punching bag for his practical jokes.
Did Scott ever blow up at John?
I told you he threw the phone at the wall. He knew it was John. Yeah, he blew up all the time. But see, that's the thing, too. Like, I hate the whole practical joke thing because if Scott were to blow up at me, I'd feel so horrible. It didn't slow John down even a little.
Now, Benji, do you think John shouldn't be mad at Scott?
Well, first of all, do we know for sure that John really is mad at Scott still? Or is this just hype?
Well, he hasn't spoken to Scott in however many years, and he was very mad at Scott.
But was he ever real close with Scott that he'd call him up and say, "Hey, let's talk about life"?
No, but John's mad at him. Trust me, I know John.
Okay,
he's mad at him.
I mean, I talk to John occasionally. I have a friendly relationship with him, and he's never brought that up to me. But I could.
No, I don't think he'll bring it up.
It is tough because I can understand John's point of view because we've all asked each other, hey, can I tell you something privately? And I don't know.
Benji, if you were sending writing samples for another show, would you ask me to proofread them and then, and not tell anyone? Or would you go to somebody else?
I would probably ask Hein to proofread.
You know what I'm talking about. And the other thing, too, is...
I see what you're saying. It is a dilemma.
But here's the other thing. What does John give a shit? He got the job. It would be a worse transition.
Well, I don't know. I want to hear from John if he really is that pissed about it.
All right, we'll call John tomorrow. I was going to say, we'll take our call.
I was going to say, if Gary can ever
but
get in touch
if John
with him
is, I think I can. It depends on what level.
I get what you're saying, except for the fact that if he really didn't want anybody here to know,
I guess I don't understand. Why would John be pissed at that point that he got the job?
Right, he got the job. What's there to be mad at? If anything, he's got the last laugh on Scott.
I guess he feels betrayed by Scott in some way. I don't know. Scott, if you're listening, come down. Maybe you can explain this.
We should get Sal down here and some of the other people, too, to talk about, I didn't realize this till after John left, but John had his own little fiefdom going that I was unaware of.
Oh, yeah.
And he would, put people on probation and punish them, and he would not talk to people for weeks on end. And there was really like a reign of terror when John was in that office.
Sal's spoken about that before, how he was on 2 weeks probation for doing something wrong.
But Jason and Will, he would give them shit. Like if they rubbed him the wrong way, he would get really mad at them and just ignore them for weeks on end.
He did get mad at me once. For
what?
Has anyone ever seen Scott run? Oh, sorry.
What did he get mad at you for, Benji?
I wanted to start doing stand-up, which I actually all my life I've always sort of dabbled in it.
What, John got mad at you, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had started doing stand-up. And I had worked something out with the New York Comedy Club to do some stuff there.
Right.
And he felt that I was getting in on him doing stand-up.
But why couldn't you both do stand-up?
Yeah. He felt I was, getting in on his thing.
Right, because once he's doing it, it's his thing.
Yeah.
So did that put an end to your stand-up?
Oh, no, just because my laziness did at the time. But he got real mad for a while.
Scott's here. Scott, John used to mess with you a lot, right?
Oh, constantly. He never stopped messing with me. That was his life.
And no matter how mad you got, it didn't stop him. It didn't slow him down.
Never. I mean, he would, the phone tricks, the money on the floor tricks with the string.
What else? How else would he fuck with you? If you
wait. Didn't he do something? This is all coming back to me now. Didn't he convince the guy at the garage to say that your car was gone? Did he? Or he never pulled that one off? He was working on that one.
No, he never did. No, he never. That never worked. That never. But I mean, he would love to constantly fuck with me every way he could.
Now, you had this tape. Like, when you did it with him, did you think, okay, one day I'm gonna, when he'll get his?
Not really. I just. He came and he said, I want to record this thing. And I really didn't know what it was for. I thought it was like a goof. I didn't think it was a serious audition tape because it obviously didn't sound like a serious audition. He wasn't an announcer. So I just took it like, all right, I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do.
You thought it might be a bit of some kind?
Yeah, I wasn't positive what he was doing.
And were you giving him that detailed feedback on his performance as it went on?
I gave him, because I didn't know what he wanted to do. So he went on. He was asking advice. Does that sound good? I'm like, yeah, you can, go a little more up and, try one easy, try one more, high energy.
Was there ever any discussion like, hey, I'd like, can you help me with this and keep it private?
Yeah, he didn't want anybody to know about it.
And did you agree to not say it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, after we were done, he told me to email it to somebody, and they said, please destroy it. And he actually came over to my computer and watched me delete the file.
And
And unbeknownst to him, there was a copy of that file somewhere else on the computer.
So what made you decide eventually to give it to this
and I knew I had to save it because
evil genius.
I mean, you know, Howard's mantra was always record, never stop recording.
Right.
Record everything.
Right.
And save everything.
Right.
So that's what we did, and that's what I did.
But I'm saying, at what point did you decide, okay, I'm going to let Gary and the guys know that we've got this?
See, I forgot about it, and figured out it was fucked. And then a few months later, when John came out and announced that he was leaving to go to the Tonight Show as their announcer, I go, that fuck. And I realized I still had that tape.
Wait, why that fuck?
Because, I mean, he was just like, you know, how can he possibly be an announcer with that kind of voice?
Oh, okay.
You know,
so you're saying like that fuck, like how can he reach this level?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's the classic example of falling up.
And how did John react to you? How did he treat you after that? Gary says he hasn't spoken to you since.
No, I saw him once out in Vegas, and he barely looked at me.
But I mean, that day.
Oh,
if you can remember back.
Oh, God, he was so angry. I mean, he's like, you know, I trusted you. You were my friend. You know, you tell me things I don't tell anybody. And he was just so mad. I mean, I had it, and I excuse me, I saved it for a great time, and I wasn't going to use it until he announced that I'm the announcer on the Tonight Show.
Right. So you did no harm in that sense, but he's still pissed that you betrayed his confidence.
Yeah, he already had the job. I didn't fuck it up. In other words, I didn't go right to Howard and say, John recorded this tape. I held it.
All right, and JD, you love when Fred was doing Scott giving John advice during the session, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I've seen Scott in the middle of recording sessions, and he just sits there, like doesn't react to anything you say or do, and just stares at the waveform going by that's recording.
Wait a minute. And Artie was like, "Oh, Scott's one take. Get out. You're done. You don't need it. It's perfect." That's not true.
You think that's unfair?
That was unfair, yeah.
Oh, you think you're the most welcoming engineer when you go in there to do stuff, when people come in to do stuff with you?
Of course I am.
Bullshit.
Come in. Have a seat. Relax.
JD, what's he like? What's he like?
The fuck do you want?
Hey, it's Gary Dell'Abate, Baba Booey. On Wednesday's wrap-up show, we talked about how we had on the best guest we could possibly have on, one of the greatest musicians of all times, an American icon, Paul McCartney. And then we also talked about how Robin hurled herself at him to try to get a date and was rebuffed. That's how it went.
There was a Beatle up here today, Gary, and it was Sir Paul McCartney.
Will and I were talking. First of all, we were trying to figure out, is there a guest? Who's the biggest guest that's ever been on the show? Who would you say is bigger than him? And we couldn't come up with anybody. Mickey Mantle. We had Mickey Mantle on the show once. But
I would say McCartney's bigger than Mickey Mantle.
Okay. Schwarzenegger at the height of his fame.
McCartney's bigger.
I agree. We couldn't think of anybody. I can't think of anybody that's been on the show that's bigger than McCartney.
And
he transcends everything. My mother, who's 82 years old, knows who he is. My 11-year-old was thrilled he was coming in, and everybody in between gives a shit.
It's funny you said that. I told my daughters that, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, "One of the Beatles is coming in." I'm like,
they were thrilled.
Yeah,
and I got to tell you, the big announcement that Paul made, which I knew already, that was exciting, is that there's a Beatles rock band coming out.
I know. I don't know if it's Guitar Hero or Rock Band. I think it's Guitar Hero.
Well, one of those.
Howard, do you play Guitar Hero? And he goes, no. But he's going to make a ton of money off of when the Beatle version comes out. But and Steve Brandano, who hosts the Intern Show, which is on 7 o'clock tonight on Howard 101, made an interesting point when he did his thing. He said the interns were more excited about Paul McCartney than they were for Brody Jenner.
And Will and I were trying to figure out like what it, he came up with security, but it wasn't like insane security. I've heard people who aren't as big as Paul, come up through the back entrance with tons and tons of security. But we were saying that like there's a guy whose every move is monitored. If he blows his nose and throws a tissue in the garbage, some idiot's going to fish it out.
That's true.
People watch everything he does and being that guy, he's pretty level-headed, pretty low-key considering.
I remember, and you guys know we're huge Beatle fanatics, but I remember reading a lot about how he sort of drives his own car. He's very down-to-earth. Now, granted, he's one of the richest men in the world, but he's sort of a regular guy in a sense, which I know you're thinking, how could he be a regular guy?
He's as regular a guy as you can be with $1 billion. No, but I mean that as a compliment. He's as regular a guy as you can be. I liked his take on Ringo. How Ringo's always been sort of a curmudgeon. Ringo's always been one of those guys who's been irritated by people. Peace and love, peace and love.
And how they cut off his head in Liverpool. That's over. I mean, you got to be careful.
They cut
Liverpool
off his lawn head.
Yes, his lawn head, not his actual head. But Paul, I'm trying to think of another. And if you have any ideas, call in with it.
I would say
of a guest who's rivaled Paul McCartney.
Mantle is the closest as far as being an icon, and I still think McCartney's bigger.
I agree. And we were all in awe. We'll get to Robin, who was particularly in awe. Somebody said Robin is out Lisa G'ing herself in like making her play for McCartney.
I told Will we needed to put a bucket under her chair.
But you know what? You can't blame her. And we were talking about it during the break, and she's like, I grew up idolizing him. She had Beatles trading cards.
I know, but
she is in, I mean, ridiculous head over heels.
Right, but I just
love
thought
with him.
It was interesting that maybe Robin is a classic example that for women, you know, you hit your sexual peak as you get older, because she's clearly getting more sexual as she gets older. But I mean, in all the years of the show, she's never really been that overtly like, I will, do things to you can't believe.
To the point where Paul McCartney said to Howard, you put her up to this, right? This is some kind of bit. Right. And Robin's like, no.
Who was the guy that Robin was flirting with? Was it Wyclef? Who was the guy that went into her room?
That was Wyclef.
And picked her up and started like dry humping her.
But Wyclef can step aside for Paul McCartney.
Oh, no doubt.
I think.
And he would, too.
It's an interesting male-female thing that, like, is there a woman of that kind of achievement at that age that we would go crazy for?
Well, I think the at that age is the disclaimer in that.
Well, well, let's take it back another one. What woman is there a woman of that achievement in the arts or in any other place that we would be that excited by? Well, Hillary Clinton?
Well, Madonna. I mean, but I'm saying that you'd want to.
But
fuck
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you'd be throwing yourself at Hillary Clinton.
Not because you want to fuck because just like, hey, it's a great story. But you like Robin's sincerely turned on by him because of who he is.
Raquel Welch.
No, because I've seen her. Right.
It's a good question. I really don't know.
What happened? I don't know. Men age gracefully a little bit better. The women. There were some women that they get older and they really are doing really well, and then all of a sudden it falls apart.
But I think
remember how hot Anne Margaret was like 10 years ago?
Yeah, a lot of people thought Sophia Loren held on to her looks for a very long time.
But what I'm saying, it's clearly not about. I mean, Paul's a handsome guy, I think, but it's not about the looks. I think if he aged really badly 10 years from now, Robin would still want him.
That's a good question for Robin. I think if Paul came in 100 pounds heavier and with a limp and whatever, I don't know if she would feel the same way. I really don't. Do you, Gary?
No, I think he still sort of has his looks. He's still there. You can see the guy that was the young guy still there. He still resembles him.
And he walks in with a Hofner bass and says, "Happy birthday, Howard."
Which was awesome. And that was the guy who runs this whole place, Scott Greenstein. Howard likes to collect guitars, and he was at Howard's house and saw an empty space, and that's a reference that that Paul made when he walked in. Howard has like these pillars, and Scott recognized that there was a guitar missing from one of the pillars, and Paul walks in and he goes, "This is for your fourth pillar," and that's what he meant by that.
Now, we've talked before when Howard had interviewed McCartney a few years ago how he doesn't get choked up, but he definitely he's very he wants to prepare right. Not that he doesn't care about every interview, but he sort of gets a chill when when Paul McCartney's in his presence.
It's one of the few guests I've ever seen him be a little bit in awe of, or I don't know if the word is in awe, but he shows such a great respect. And, we did a lot of things today. Like, we didn't bother him with pre-interviews with Lisa G and the cameras. We didn't take pictures in the studio. Howard's like, a guest of that caliber should be able to come in and come out and, not feel bothered.
Do you think they have a special chemistry, the two of them?
I do. I really do, because McCartney clearly seems to like him. And Howard, of course, you can see that Howard loves McCartney. But McCartney clearly seems to, find Howard endearing.
Yeah, I think he knows what to expect from Howard. And when Howard started asking a little bit about Heather Mills or about his kids or whatever, McCartney backed off on it, but didn't do it in an asshole kind of way.
Right. He's like, dude, I'm not going to go there, but, let's chat.
And Howard was a genuine big fan of his new record, apparently.
Yeah, I liked the little bit that I heard. I'm going to take the whole record home and listen to it on the way home today.
All right, let's go to the phones. We'll start with Jay and Troy. Jay, welcome to the Wrap-Up Show.
Hey, boys. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Real great, thanks. I hopped up a couple hours early just to listen to McCartney. And what you guys were saying about if Paul came in a couple pounds heavier or something, you got to remember, he's still got $1 billion, okay? He looks pretty fucking good. The difference between Mantle and maybe McCartney, and Gary, I don't know, you might remember this. When Mantle died, Howard sang a song. You probably don't remember it, do you, Gary?
No.
It was... And this is the difference. He wouldn't talk like McCartney like that. But when Mantle died, Howard sang, "It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out when you drink like that."
Yeah, but let's take that part out for. I know what